We recently found this Christmas tree at William Temple House. I think it's quite a good find. Light test number 1. Bluish lights or off-white lights? It's coming together. It's pretty awesome. One of my faves. One of my other favorites. This one might be my favorite. And the grapes, of course. Well, I was able to get the LCD barely working this morning. Still, the contrast is like messed up. I still feel like there's something wrong with this screen, so I'm gonna end up taking it back and get something different. And Kate and I are going to see Star Wars today, so probably just gonna mess around for a little while at a coffee shop until she's ready to go, and then we're gonna go see the movie. Well, made it back from Star Wars. It was awesome. You're not gonna get any spoilers here though. At the moment, I'm pretty freaking sleepy. I didn't sleep well last night, so I'm gonna take about an hour nap. And I got plenty of mail today, so I'm pretty excited to see what's in the packages. I also went to URS this morning and returned that LCD screen and got a new one, a different one. So I'll show that in a bit. Also, I learned a few new things about the LCD 5110 that I can share. I actually did get it working this morning, but I still think it's messed up. Something to do with the contrast. Even though I was able to adjust that, it just still wasn't consistent enough. So I'll share my learnings in a bit. Well, just woke up, ended up sleeping for about an hour and a half, which is good. I definitely feel a lot better. Now I have to go get Kate, and then I'll be back to get started on some electronic stuff, maybe. We'll probably eat dinner, and then I'll work later on. All right, it's mail time. So we got. These are all random things from China, I believe. Wire files. MT3608 icstation.com. I don't actually remember what it says. Oh, DC booster power module. There you go. 10K pots. Those are handy. So now I need to show you what I got at URS earlier. All right, so ended up picking up it's a logic level converter. Actually wish I had this earlier when I was testing out the LCD, but essentially what it does is it'll allow you to step up voltage and step down voltage. So if you have like a 5 volt input, it'll step it down to 3.3, and likewise if you have 3.3, it'll step it up to 5 volts. So you can decide what you want. So there's essentially 6 pins on each side, and you can add that to your breadboard as well. Put headers in there and add it to a breadboard. But I don't know, figured it would be a little handy device, and they weren't too expensive. I think it was like $2. And then I traded the other LCD in for an OLED, a mini OLED, or micro OLED actually. It's pretty tiny. So there it is compared to the logic level converter. Pretty small. But excited to see if this is any easier to work with. yeah, I'm guessing that it won't be, just at first glance, but we'll see. So, I said I'd share a few learnings from my experience with the Nokia 5110. So first off, definitely be conscious of how much voltage is coming into the pins. I think that's probably some of the problem that I had. I bet if I were to put like some resistors on each one of the pins, it probably would have helped. But I didn't want to go that far. It seemed just, I don't know, just too I was too frustrated with that thing. Another thing you need to be conscious of is the MISO pin. No, sorry, master out slave in, the MOSI pin. So on the red board is pin 11. So it might be different on your board. Just make sure that you know where that pin is, because that one's important. And it will also be labeled SDIN, I believe. Yeah, serial input. Another one is the clock. So the acronyms will be CLK or SCLK. You need to make sure you know where that is on the board. And every board will have a different pin, likely. I think the red board and the Arduino are the same, but other boards may have it swapped around, so just be conscious of that. For all the other items, I think it was like chip enable and reset, DC, and LED. Those can all go into whatever digital pins you have. So yeah, I think that was about it. I feel like also if you have a logic level converter or use resistors on your pins, on each one of those other pins, probably will help. Also maybe like a smoothing capacitor. I saw that some people recommended that, like a 0.1 capacitor. And then also the 330 ohm capacitor on your LED line, which is pin 8 on the LCD. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, like I said, I actually have a couple other ones coming in, which are the 5110, not the SparkFun ones, they're from eBay purchases. So I'll probably have a couple more to play around with in the future, and we'll see. Oh yeah, one other thing. If you have some ribbon cable like this, I definitely recommend it. It made life so much easier dealing with that LCD. That way wires weren't everywhere. Alright, so I'm going to time myself and see how long it takes me to hook this thing up. It's currently about 6:30. First step, read the SparkFun Micro OLED Breakout Hookup Guide. Alright, so I'm about halfway through the hookup guide. Learning so far. The board also works on 3.3 volts. That's the recommended voltage. It also works on both I2C and SPI interface, but the I2C interface requires you to like short some jumpers on the back of the board, specifically the D1, D2 jumper and the DC jumper. Let's see if I can get that to focus. I'm probably going to use a SPI interface since it's by default set up for that, and SPI is faster and the recommended one according to the hookup guide. So continuing to read. Alright, one other important jumper on the back of the board is the BS1 and BS2 jumper. So by default it should be set to 0, 0. Let's see, I'm probably not going to be able to focus that close. Maybe you can see that. Alright, it's about 30 minutes in. Had to pause and read a Christmas card that we got. But I, like everything else, need to solder some headers on this thing. Alright, I can already tell this is going to be a huge pain, but I have the breakaway headers. The reason I say that is because of this piece right here. Like, how am I going to get... I mean, it's so close to the screen. I'm gonna have to pull it back. And it's already attached to double stick tape.
Must be love on the brain.
Guess I'm just gonna have to pull that up to get the headers on. Thinking of putting the well, I think this display might be ruined. I'm gonna just try to patch it up here, and at least I can get to these now. That's still connected. This is what I'm worried about though. It's totally gonna mess up. Alright. In the words of K2SO, there's a high probability that this doesn't work, even though it looks nicely sorted here. Alright, let's plug it in and see what happens. Nothing exciting yet. Well, messed around with it a little bit more, and the pinouts seem right, and I tried another example and it's still not working, so at this point, I don't know. I mean, I've learned that OLEDs require a delicate touch, and I guess I'll be taking this back tomorrow and see if they'll actually return it, or maybe I'll get a different one and try not to screw the next one up.